we're talking about 5 more films that are in my top 100. We're talking my number 20 through my number 16 films in my top 100 list. So if you don't know anything about my channel, check back for my previous reveals of my top 100 for, I think, 100 through 20. It's a decent backlog, so have fun going through all of those. I mean, hopefully you enjoy them. I think these are some of the best parts of my show. So, and that's what I've been hearing from some feedback by my friends, I guess, the only people that actually tune into the show. So, but like I said, like every other one of my top 100 topics, I like to give some disclaimers for people who don't know about this segment, is that all these films in my list have my stamp of approval, my movie magic. That's what I give all my films. If I really like it, or I think it's special, or I don't. And obviously all these do. It's my top 100 films of all time. I mean, why wouldn't they? I'm not going to go in through an in-depth review of each one of these films. I'm going to mention them, mention their spot, whether or not they might rise and fall. I mean, we're kind of getting into the films that aren't really going to be rising and fall. They're pretty set in stone. I mean, they're my top 20 now. And just kind of like a quick little snippet of why I like them so much. And just, again, this is my opinion. So, I mean, if your film's not in my top 100, I'm sorry. Comment below if what's your favorite film, or give me your top 10 list of films of all time. I would love to hear it. Discussions about film are the best. That's why I'm doing this podcast, because I love talking about movies. Movies are fucking great. So, like I said, just my opinion. It's not objective fact that this is the top 100 films of all time. Objective, and it's not. It's not objective. Films are subjective. They're an art form. Like, come on now. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Number 20. At the 20 spot, we got, just ahead of Ridley Scott's Aliens, we got James Cameron's Aliens, plural. I mean, probably it's my favorite Alien film of the franchise. I know it's kind of, a lot of people just got triggered that Alien isn't, your favorite Alien film. It's the definitive Alien film. It's the cosmic horror, but this is definitely a more sci-fi action film. It's not my favorite sci-fi action film of all time. There's one more film that's higher on this list that's sci-fi action. We'll be talking about that one in probably a couple episodes. But Aliens is great. I mean, no shade on the original Alien. I just think this one is just more rewatchable and so quotable. Don't worry, Ripley. Me and my squad of ultimate badasses will protect you. I mean, come on, Hudson. You want some? Yeah. I mean, come on. It's so great. I mean, Vasquez, let's rock. I mean, come on. I mean, how can you not love Aliens? I have awesome memories of me and my friends watching this one for movie night. It's so great. This film is so amazing. I love it so much. Aliens is my favorite Alien movie. That's number 20. Moving on up, we're going number 19 with the first part 1 of the Godfather trilogy. A lot of people like part 2 more. I love part 2 as well. It's in my top 100. It's in I think a couple episodes back. It's a couple spots, back, but I don't know. It's just whenever I want to watch a Godfather film, I watch the first one. I don't know. It's something about the first one I just like a little bit better. And me personally, I think it's the best mafia film ever made. And I think it will probably forever will be. So, yeah, The Godfather Part 1, I like it better than the second part. I mean, that's probably an uncommon opinion, but it's my fucking opinion. So, go fuck yourself. Moving on. Number 18, we got Star Wars A New Hope. The first ever Star Wars film, and I think probably the best first film in a series probably ever. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, I think it's higher than Fellowship. It's higher than, I don't even think Batman Begins is in my top 100. So I think it probably is my favorite first film in a series, I believe. I mean, we'll see how the rest of my list goes out, but I'm almost positive it is. I mean, it's my favorite franchise of all time, Star Wars. And no matter how much Disney fucks it up, it's always gonna be. And like I'll always have the original trilogy, and this just kicks it off with a bang. It's so good. It has the perfect format of the hero's journey. So great. I mean, it's just a classic story and forever will be classic. It's so good. It's Star Wars. I mean, come on, guys. Number 17, we got an interesting one. I'm actually watching Fargo right now, but this isn't Fargo. This is another Coen Brothers film. We got The Big Lebowski. This is my favorite Coen Brothers film. Big Lebowski, another quotable film. Doesn't everybody give a fuck about the fucking rules? Something like that. Oh, dude. It's such a great film. I mean, Jeff Bridges, the dude. I mean, come on. Well, that's just like your opinion, man. That's my whole top 100 list. It's just my opinion, man. But I mean, the dude. I'm the dude. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. I mean, come on. Another quotable, awesome film. I mean, definitive Coen Brothers. It's great. Absurd story. It's so unpredictable. It's so funny. It's probably one of the best dark comedies of all time. I mean, it's The Big Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. I mean, the dude is. I mean, Jeff Bridges, man, so good. And finally, we got number 16. We have my favorite horror film, and I believe the scariest horror film of all time, in my opinion. I mean, maybe The Exorcist could rival it a little bit, but my favorite horror film of all time is The Shining, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. I know a lot of people criticize this film, especially Stephen King. Stephen King is notorious for hating this film because of how it really doesn't follow his book of The Shining, but I still think it captures the horror behind it, and I think The Shining is a definitive film. Like, it encapsulates like an emotion and an experience. Like, think about Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk, and how it definitively like makes you experience like wartime fear and survival instinct almost, and that whole experience. I feel like this film makes you experience like pure insanity. Like actual insanity and like absolute horror. Like that, this is a definitive film for that. And I think this is probably one of the more original films that actually, influenced this influx of like what I like to call domestic horror films, like your Hereditaries or Midsommar or The Babadook. These like really dark conceptual horror films that are just so scary because of the types of themes that it explores. I mean, The Shining explores those exact same themes, and it's one of the original ones to do that. That's probably why I think it's so goddamn scary. So, I'm also kind of quotable. Honey, I'm home. I said, I don't want to hurt you. I just want to bash your brains in. I mean, come on. Who doesn't think that film is scary? I mean, come on now. The Shining's classic. So, with that, guys, like I said, a lot of these couple films, we're getting my top 20 now. They're probably unchangeable. They're not going to change too much. I mean, once you get past my top 50, I mean, it's kind of like they're all set in stone. But after my, before my top 50, I think those films have a chance of moving around and maybe getting bumped out of the list. Especially with these films that I've been thinking about, I should have been putting in, like A Spirited Away or other random films that I've been thinking about. Hello there. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you're unfamiliar with this channel, this is Nerd Out Sanctuary. I'm your host, Michael. What do I talk about, you say? Well, I talk about anything nerdy. So that's movies, video games, TV shows, comic books every once in a while. Books, maybe not. I don't know. Anything that I feel like talking about. I'm a huge nerd. I hope you're a huge nerd, and I hope we can enjoy our nerdiness together here. This is a full audio podcast available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, the major podcast platforms. So consider going over to those and checking out the full version of the episode. and other past episodes, please leave me a review and subscribe on those platforms. If you don't want to do that, clipped, shorter versions of those full episodes will be posted here on YouTube. So consider subscribing and liking the videos for more to support me and future content that I will be producing in the future on nerdy stuff. So yeah, thank you, and see you on the next one.